What up? What up? What up? What up? What up, though? Welcome everyone. I like to welcome everyone back to Real Sports Talk, New York's new number one sports talk show. We are the voice of the streets. Please allow me to reintroduce myself. It's your boy Cash. Thank you. And we're back with another one, man. We're gonna talk some Giants today. Uh Last you heard from me Sunday, immediately after the Giants game. The Giants lost to the Commanders. I wigged out a little bit, nothing too crazy, but I was a little upset, aggravated, agitated, whatever adjective you wanna put on it. But as well, all the other Giants fans, agitated. We're seeing the same thing year after year. The poor quarterback play, the poor offensive line, the you know subpar, uncreative play calling by Kafka and Dable, not being able to stop the run. Shane Bowen's game plan not really panning out on how to stop the run. But I'm calm now, and the emotion has subsided, and the logic is set in, and I am ready to now turn the page. Right, we're gonna turn the page. We're gonna talk a little bit about this upcoming matchup this week. Giants versus another division rival, another division game, second game on the road, the Dallas Cowboys. But before we do that, let me shout out my boys. We got a dope episode dropping from them tonight. Shout out to Jay, shout out to Ra. They go in depth breakdown the Jets and Giants, situations, especially on the question that seems to be burning a hole in everybody's brain. Should the Giants, throw Jackson Dart in there? My thoughts on that. I ranted about that last week. I think it would be a mistake, but we'll recap that a little bit in a minute as we get into the breakdown. But first, I would like to say today is September 11th. I would like to give a moment of silence to everybody who passed away in that terrible tragedy that rocked the world and really rocked the United States and rocked New York and DC and Pennsylvania. And just I like to give a moment of silence for those who passed away in 9/11. God bless. God bless. All right, let's lighten up the mood a little bit. Giants Cowboys, man. You know, how should I start this? Let me just keep it 1,000. If the Giants lose to the Dallas Cowboys this week in Dallas, Jerry's World, they go 0-2 to start the season again, and they look and go 0-2, and then on top of that, if they look bad doing it, shit's gonna get stupid. It's gonna get stupid, y'all. The Jackson Dart talk is gonna be out of control. It's already on fire. It's gonna be on steroids. It's gonna be on Balco time. The fire Brian Dable, the fire Joe Shane talk. It's gonna be out of control. You're already starting to hear little rumblings about that again. So if you ask me, this is a must-win for Dable and Shane, in my opinion. And I don't say that a lot of times for second game of the season, but if they go out there and they lay an egg and the O line looks crazy and Slayton's running 80 routes and getting one target and they're double teaming Malik and can't get him the ball, and Russell Wilson's running for his life, and the front seven can't stop the run, and they can't get to the quarterback, and it's going to be a mess, man. It's going to be an absolute mess, And what's crazy is, listening to different podcasts this week and different media channels, it's like, sometimes I'll go to the opposing teams YouTube channels and media channels and their personalities, and I'll listen to what their perspective on things are, and what they're saying about us. You know what I mean? I'm quite sure they do that with us, but they're running around like, please don't start Jackson Dart, like disrespecting Russell Wilson. Please don't start Jackson Dart, like salivating. You should. I got a couple of clips I'm going to play, salivating, hoping the Giants start Russell Wilson, a Super Bowl winning Pro Bowl quarterback. Come on, man. Hall of Famer, not borderline Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. You know, people act like, is Russell as athletic as he once was? No, I'm not. I'm a realist. I'm gonna be honest, but he didn't fall off that bad. You guys are bugging, man. Go back and look at the stats in Denver. And as good as coach Sean Payton is, I think there was a lot going on there, and I think the narrative was pushed unfairly or created unfairly about Russell Wilson in Denver. And then when he went to the Steelers as well, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't really like a narrative like he was a bad guy or a bad teammate or selfish like they kind of were pushing him when he went to Denver. But, even with the Steelers, they let him walk. But look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. The numbers ain't bad. And I think with a decent O-line, he can be good. But look, I'm going to play these clips because these Dallas Cowboy media fanatics are disrespecting Russell, man. Basically praying that they start Russell Wilson over Jackson Dart. Like Jackson Dart has thrown a pass in the NFL regular season game. Listen, I get it. The kid looked good in preseason. I get it. The kid looked good in preseason. So did everybody else, right? Everybody was going nuts about the Giants after preseason, right? Expectations were through the roof. Some of that was just us wanting to be able to root for something, to hold on to something. And some of that was just nonsense, but they look great coming out of preseason, right? So we got to take preseason with a grain of salt. We talked about this already. Nobody really shows their playbook. Nobody's going real full speed. Guys are just getting reps, getting their feet wet under them, and just scratching out plays just to kind of get an understanding of the speed back of the game, kind of getting into the swing of things, right? That's what it is. Getting reps under them, getting back into shape, and getting ready for the regular season. There's no real, even if you play as starters, there's no real, like you can't really draw a conclusion all the way from preseason. But back to this. People are disrespecting Russell Wilson, basically laughing and saying, please start Russell Wilson over Jackson Dart. I'm going to play the Skip Bayless clip, then we're going to come back and talk about it.
Yeah.
How happy are you that Russell Wilson will be starting against the Cowboys?
Man, we've been killing quarterbacks all day long here on this show, and I'm about to kill another one. I am so relieved you have no idea, because I'll take Russell Wilson any Sunday or Monday or Thursday right now over the X factor that is Jackson Dart, because I watched Jackson Dart several times in the preseason. He is electric. He's
disrespect.
A little crazy, but crazy. Yeah.
How happy?
The disrespect. The disrespect of the legend, Russell Wilson. I'm a Russ guy, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Russ guy. He's with us now. Remember that song, Jay-Z? Who you with? He with us now. Let him in. Let him. No, not him. Him. Yeah, he's with us. Let him in. You know what I'm saying? Russ, if you're listening, my man, I'm betting on you this year, brother. I don't care what they say. Jackson ain't ready to come in. He's gonna have his time. I think he'll be great for years to come. But right now, we need Russell in there, man. They're disrespecting you. I want you to come out and lay 4 touchdowns on them, 300 yards, run for about 50, 60 yards on the ground. Just take control of the offense, man. Don't let them play you like this. Dable, you too. Some creative plays. You and Kafka, creative plays. Hudson, we'll talk about you in a minute. But I want to play this one more clip. The disrespect. This is Talking Cowboys, a local Cowboy YouTube channel out there who covers them. And They're even talking crazy about Russell. Let's check this out.
Dallas Cowboys got some big-time news before their Week 2 matchup against the New York Football Giants. The majority of this is going to focus on Russell Wilson, once again being named the starting quarterback for the Giants. That had to be a conversation is actually, I think, pretty significant as it relates to Dallas. Part of the Giants' struggles were on offense and on the quarterback after a pretty poor 21-6 loss that doesn't even feel reflective of how that game went. Could have been a lot more in favor of the Commanders. We'll break down why I think it's actually a good thing that Russell Wilson is going to start for the Cowboys again, or start for the Giants.
Shots fired. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. If you are the Giants, you got to stand up for your boy. You got to stand up for your boy. 1,000%. They're excited. Russell Wilson's going to start. Disrespect. Listen, I said, the O-line got to show up. Can't be running for your life. Did Russell Wilson look like Josh Allen last week? Come on. No, he didn't. I don't care how good the offensive line is. He's not Josh Allen anymore, and maybe never was. Did he look like Lamar Jackson? No way. But I'll stand on the fact. I'll stand on my square. I'll stand on business that Wilson is not to blame. We know his athleticism has declined. Yes. But it's only declined slightly. Not that crazy, guys. How was Russell last week? We don't know. He took some shots downfield. The first couple of drives, they was moving the ball. Does he have deficiencies? Yeah, a little bit. He can still get out the pocket, though. He can. Watch, and give him a little bit of time. Give him a little bit of protection. You'll see that. Some say he held the ball too long. You know what I mean? Possibly, maybe, on a few snaps. Others say he wasn't accurate on his reads. Bullshit. Come on, man. He knows what coverage is coming at him. He knows how to read coverages. He's a 14-year veteran, man. Let's stop the nonsense, man. Let's stop the nonsense. O-line, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Let me give you a couple examples, right? Daniel Jones. Do we really believe Daniel Jones? And he had a great game. Shout out to Daniel Jones. And there have been people who broke down the film. And I think the hype over that last game against Miami, maybe people were maybe it was a little bit hyperbole. But still, he had a good game, and he looked good. Is Daniel Jones better than Russell Wilson? Non-cipher, right? Baker Mayfield. Baker be looking good behind that line. Is Baker Mayfield better than Russell Wilson? Even at this point, I don't think so. Maybe a little bit, but has a lot to do with that whole line. Bo Nix, right? Yeah, Bo Nix is good, young kid. Is he a future Hall of Famer? We don't know. Looks like one a little bit at times, right? Because he's behind that stout offensive line, right? The Broncos' offensive line led the NFL in pass blocking efficiency last year, right? They have one of the best right guards in the game, Quinn Meinerz. Garrett Bowles at left tackle. He's very solid. Mike McKinney at right tackle. Mike McKinley at right tackle. Very solid. They've all played together for a while now, so they have that chemistry, right? O-lines, they have to be in sync. They can be good individually, but they play together. Garrett Bowles, Quinn Meinerz, Mike McKinley. Very good offensive line. That's why Bo Nix, one of the reasons why Bo Nix looks so good. Russell Wilson, he's running for his life, right? I'm sorry. We're going to stay in the O-line for a second. O-line, terrible, man. You know, if you look at the numbers, he didn't get sacked a whole lot of times, right? But the pressures were crazy. The left tackle, turnstile, Hudson. We brought Hudson in here, gave him a big deal. He's getting cooked. 68 snaps, gave up 6 pressures, a couple of hurries, a couple of hits, late hits, right? Schmidt sucks. Schmidt absolutely sucks in pass protection and run blocking. John Runyon gave up 3 pressures and a sack. The O-line was just terrible last week. I'm not going to make my choice or my decision or my assessment, is a better way to put it, till I see some proper protection, right? Couldn't get the run game going, right? We'll see what happens this week. Right? They go up against this Cowboys defense. The Cowboys front seven, they lost Micah. Let's forget about Micah. Micah's gone. Micah's a thing of the past in terms of the Cowboys, right? So the front seven, they didn't do that bad against the Eagles O-line. One of the best offensive lines of football, I might add, the Eagles. I believe I read the Cowboys had 20 pressures, something to that effect, 20, 21 pressures against that Eagles offensive line. So Giants, beware. They like to run up the gut with those interior tackles. They got a couple of ballers on that line. Let's be honest. Are the Cowboys like, when you think of the Cowboys, you're like, yo, Cowboys defense is scary good. Nah. Not at all. But you got some guys in there. Right? Kenny Clark, Williams, Dante Fowler, Osa. Right? I think Osa had 3 or 4 pressures last week. He's disruptive. So beware of that. Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, secondary. So the Cowboys defense, top 10? No, I don't think so, but don't make it look like a top 10 against the Giants. Offensive line, step up. Let's get our shit together. Calmer Basillo. Have that offensive line ready to ball, right? Let's have them ready to ball this week, man. The anger, the emotion has subsided, and I need them to get their shit together. Giants. Let's talk about what the Giants need to do. Giants need to stop the run. The Dallas didn't run the ball particularly well last week. Javonte Williams, 54 yards, 14 carries. Is he? I think he's a good running back. But he doesn't scare me. He doesn't scare me at all. But they're probably looking at the Giants, and they go, man, Giants can't stop the run. I might be able to get 100 yards off this week. You know what I'm saying? I might be able to get off 100 yards because they know we can't stop the run. McFadden is out. We have some problems. The rookie's in behind him. Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams. I think Sanders busted off like one chunk of like a 45-yarder or something like that. I can't remember. Something like that. But we got to be able to stop that run. You know what I'm saying? Schottenheimer, he likes to run the ball. They're going to try to run that ball up the gut, misdirections, cutbacks, counters. They think they smell food with this Giants front seven not being able to stop the run. So what are we going to do? I don't care if we got to put 3 edge rushers in there at one time. Drop back in the nickel. Thibodeau, Burns. Burns had a good game. Thibodeau had half a sack. And the kid, Abdul Carter. Let's go. Let's cook. Let's come out this week against the Cowboys and show them who the fuck we are. Okay? Let's show them who the fuck we are. You know what I mean? Secondary, Paulson and Debo. Hey, look good. Jury still out on him. Javon Holland, Cordell Flott. These guys, they gotta be tight, man. CeeDee Lamb, big drops last week. He's embarrassed. He's looking to cook. You understand what I'm saying? He's looking to cook. We got to be able to go out there and stop him. George Pickens didn't get into the game that much. He's going to be looking to cook. Dak Prescott looked pretty good. Right? Dak Prescott, talking about Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have beaten us, I want to say, the last 14 times. Right? I got to check that out. Let me look that up for a second. Or something like that. 14 times. And I think they're like a 5-point favorite. Yeah, 5-point favorite. If 5-point favorite, if I'm not mistaken. Every media pundit in town is looking to pick the Cowboys because there's always that New York bias. You know what I mean? We got to see what's happening, man. Shane Bowen, what are you gonna do? You're going to rush the quarterback. You're going to blitz. Dak is good against the blitz. I forgot his. I'm getting old, man. My brain don't remember stats like they used to. But I forgot his PFF rating, but I know it is very good in terms of how he does against the blitz. It's not easy to blitz Dak. He sees that, calls audibles at the line of scrimmage. He's very good against the blitz. Gets the ball out very quick. You're gonna want to get to him with your front four. On some Steve Spagnuolo, blitz disguising, like super covert blitz disguising shit. You got to get creative, man. And on offense, we talked about the offensive line, but we got to get creative. Yeah, they weren't good in the run block, right? Not good at all in the run block. We're gonna have to get creative. Trying to run the ball up the gut all the time wasn't working. We were seeing third and short situations with no running backs in the set, going 5 wide, throwing fucking fade routes in the red zone in the middle of a congestion. That's nasty work, dog. That's nasty work. Gadget played an Mbow, who I like, by the way, as a tackle. I like the kid. But the Gadget play to him, that's nasty work, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Nasty work. Depressing. They were on the 1 yard line, like a couple of times. They couldn't punch it in. Unacceptable. You get down to the 1 yard line, throw the kid Scatterbo in there. He had that one play where they tried to take him down. They couldn't. He was on some battering ram shit. Someone said a great line about him. He plays like he's trying to develop CTE. He played like he was James Harrison on the offensive side, spearing dudes. Where was he? I didn't see him for that many snaps. You get down on the 1 line, punch Scatterbo through. You know what I'm saying? Punch Scatterbo through. Run some creative plays for Tyrone Tracy. You understand what I'm saying? And we'll get more into that in a little bit, man. Giants terrible on 3rd and long. Terrible on 3rd and long, man. Defensively and offensively. You're going to have to be able to stop them on 3rd and long. Can't let them create first downs off 3rd and longs. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much, man. My mind is running all over the place, man. Like I said, get Burns, Carter, Thibodeau. If you got to run them consecutively for a play or two, a couple of plays, you're going to have to do it. A lot of coaches don't like to deploy 3 edge rushers. So do something different. Go 3-3-5, base 3-3-5, right? Where the 2 outside linebackers, in the defense end are all the 2 linebackers and the edge rushers are all active, and you're substituting the 3rd edge rusher, and you're doing a 4-2-5 nickel where you're dropping somebody back in coverage. Right? Do something like that. Get creative. I like that nickel coverage when you do that. But get to that quarterback, man. What's up, Andrew Thomas? Anybody know? Looking at the injury report, he's more than likely going to be out, right? I think I saw Malik Neighbors, the back injury. He's nursing the toe shit still, I believe, a little bit. He's been limited in practice. He was listed limited in practice. We know about what happened to Mike McFadden. He's out for a lot more, bigger chunk of the season than we hoped. We lack a little bit of depth at linebacker. So that's an issue. Wandell banged up a little bit. So we got to get the ball. We got to take shots downfield, man. Slayton, they got Slayton out there doing cardio, man, last week. Something like 64 routes ran. I think 1 or 2 targets. Come on, that's unacceptable, man. Why would they stop double teaming Neighbors if Slayton's just out there doing cardio? Man, he's on the treadmill out there. But Neighbors is going to see some double teams. He did last week. Wandell is going to get the underneath stuff. You're going to see some underneath stuff with Bellinger and Theo Johnson. Theo leaking out a little bit. Those plays set up the downfield plays, and vice versa. We got to do better. We got to do better in red zone situations. right? We've been horrible and feel like in the red zone for the last, I don't even know. I cringe when we get down to the red zone. It's insane, man. It's really insane. But yeah, like let's get to the quarterback, man. 3-3-5 base. Nickel. Rush 3 at times. Switch it up a little bit. You know? Leave it. What y'all want to think? Whatever y'all want to say in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions. What the Cowboys should do and what the Giants should do. Dak Prescott. He's gonna try to hoop. He's gonna go out there and try to hoop. Him and CD, 100%. You know what I mean? The Cowboys, they're gonna try to, like I just said, they're gonna try to protect Dak, right? Giants, even though they didn't stop the run, they know they have the horses. You know what I'm saying? They have the horses to do it. Cowboys know that. Cowboys are gonna try to run the ball. They didn't run that well last week. You know what I mean? I don't think they did, at least. They got to establish the ground game, keep the tempo, keep the Giants defensive honest. What does that open? We all know what that opens. Open the play action, right? Play action opens everything. You know what I mean? If you can't run, the play action is not going to work, right? They can't do that. They got to force the Giants to commit more turnovers, put more defenders up front, which opens up space for the pass, right? Put pressure on Russell Wilson. We already know they're going to try to do that. That's everybody wants to put pressure on Russell Wilson, right? Wilson, under duress, doesn't look good. His production drops, like every quarterback, really. But it was very noticeable last week. They're gonna want to disrupt his timing, make him make mistakes. You know what I mean? I still think we're gonna win. I got a feeling we're gonna win. I got a feeling everyone's counting us out. Everyone's throwing us away. Everybody's put us down. I still think we're gonna win. What do the Giants need to do? Right? Let's go back over that for a minute. Right? We talked about it a little bit. Fix the run blocking and establish your ground game. Stop the run, establish the run. Right? In week 1 versus the Commanders, the Giants averaged about 2 yards per carry. Unacceptable. Anemic. The run game was anemic. They couldn't get shit off. Right? They couldn't get shit off. It's crazy. Got to be able to run the ball. Can't run the ball, not going to be able to pass the ball. Right? They need to get a little bit physical, get yards before contact, block a little bit better, help control the clock, which they did decent last week. That'll take a little bit of pressure off Russ. You know, keep their defense on the field longer. That'll rest our defense and keep their offense cold, right? Our O-line wasn't great last week. We all know that. That's not breaking news. But trying to run the ball up the gut and running into walls all game is not going to cut it. We were seeing third and short situations, right? I mentioned this before. They're going 5 wide, and throwing fade routes in the red zone. That's nasty work. That has to stop. You know what I'm saying? That has to stop. Improve pass protection. Goes without saying. Russ needs time to cook. Remember, let Russell cook. Let Russell Wilson cook. Can't cook. He's getting robbed, right? So you got to make few mental mistakes. 1,000%. The Giants, they have some playmakers. Malik Neighbors look frustrated in week 1, but they didn't stretch the field at all. Not much, at least, right? Take occasional shots down the field. Get Malik involved early so he doesn't get disgruntled and upset, right? If you take some shots down the field, the Cowboys going to have to respect that, right? That opens up the whole playbook. It limits the Cowboys' ability to crowd the line, to load the box. Washington last week cooked the Giants. 220 yards on the ground. Like I said earlier, don't let Dallas run that ball. Right? You don't want to let them force the Giants into longer, tougher downs and staying on the field. You got to stop all of that shit, man. Don't let Dallas run the ball. Don't let them convert third downs. Obviously, that's football 101. We all know penalties. Clean that up. Clean up the drop passes, blown assignments, missed tackles. Right? Those shit sting in big games. This is a big game, a divisional game. That's 2 already. Right? That's 2 division games already. So you got 1 more with them, 1 more with the Commanders, 2 more with the Eagles. Right? Am I bugging? Oh, you got 6, right? Commander. Yeah. So let's get our shit together, man. Giants, I believe in you guys, man. And I'm excited. We have a lot of holes, a lot of deficiencies I thought we cleared up or hoped we cleared up, but deep down inside, I knew we didn't really clear them up. Some things we need to address. Stable and Shane, their job is on the line. I just hope they don't panic and push the panic button and bring in the kid. And he has a non-existent left tackle in Hudson, and he just gets creamed week after week. That's not going to be good, man. You know what I mean? There's some people that think, hey, put him in there. He'll make up some of the deficiencies we have. I'm not in that school of thought. Let him learn. If we had a stout offensive line, I would say, throw him back in there. Let him learn on the job. Well, we don't. We don't. We have work to do. They're laughing at you guys out there. Russ, they're laughing at you, man. Time to get busy. Listen, I'm going to do a Jets preview tomorrow, Jets Bills preview tomorrow. Thank y'all for hanging out with me for a little bit. You already know what time it is. Real Sports Talk. It's your boy Cash. I'm up out of here. Peace.